And joining us now is Congressman Jodey Arrington of Texas, chair of the Budget Committee. Good morning, Congressman. You heard what the president said, that the proposal you have put forward is unacceptable, citing tax breaks for big oil, cuts in health care. Your reaction?
Well, my reaction is the president's had almost 100 days without engaging the process. Now his back is against the wall. We have one proposal that has passed the House. Nobody else has put a proposal on the table. So he needs to respond to that proposal. And now he's, I believe, just making more excuses not to negotiate a responsible debt ceiling deal that will raise the debt ceiling, pay our bills, protect the good faith and credit of the United States, but also deal with the spending problem that's driving the inflation crisis and some of the economic woes that we're experiencing, along with just this massive and unsustainable debt that we're carrying as a country. So I hope he changes his tune, and I hope in his conversation with Speaker McCarthy that it's more productive and more focused, again, on the one proposal that is passed, Republicans put forward and passed out of the House.
Well, the president said he's willing to cut spending by more than $1 trillion. He said that this morning, but he also wants Republicans to consider raising revenue. That has been a non-starter for Republicans, but will you reconsider?
No, because you couldn't get tax policies and tax revenues in the Senate bill. We certainly weren't going to put it in the House bill. So, number one, it's not on the table for discussion. Number two, taxes right now would only be passed on to consumers in higher prices. So we would exacerbate inflation. And our economy is growing now at just 1.1% GDP. That's down over the last 3 quarters. We're heading into recession. The last thing we want to do is add another tax. The president and Democrats passed out of the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, taxes on businesses, taxes on energy, taxes on investment. This is not the time to put a tax on our economy or on working families. The president, again, needs to deal with the proposal that passed the House. And our country is spending at wartime levels, Martha, almost 25% relative to GDP. We haven't spent that much since we invaded Normandy. I think the American people understand that the cost of living crisis that they're suffering with is as a result of spending, not because we have low taxes. The fact is we had record taxes going into COVID, and we had another record tax revenue year in 2021.
The White House sources familiar with the negotiations are telling our Rachel Scott the latest proposal would keep non-defense and defense discretionary spending flat from 2023 to 2024, and the Republicans want to increase defense spending. That's despite $45 billion more than President Biden had proposed last time.
Well, let's give some context to the discretionary budget. Our federal government is 40% bigger today than it was going into COVID. Secondly, the president was the lead negotiator in 2011 for a 10-year spending cap deal, and he was doing that in the context of a debt ceiling negotiation. So this isn't unprecedented. Even the president's own budget, if you look at his 10-year budget resolution proposal that he introduced about a month ago, he has $2.7 trillion in discretionary cuts. If you annualize that, that's over $200 billion a year. We're talking about going back to $130 billion. That's what we were spending as a nation discretionary just 6 months ago. So this is more than reasonable, but we have to get back to pre-COVID, pre-inflationary spending. We've got to right size and rein in this bureaucratic bloat that we've pulled out of COVID, and we've got to deal with that legacy inefficiency.
Congressman, the president said he can't guarantee that Republicans won't force a default. Could Republicans let that happen?
Martha, I would suggest that the Republicans won't let it happen because we passed a debt ceiling proposal that raises the debt ceiling, and it does it responsibly. And we are the only chamber. We are the only part of this tripart negotiation that's actually done its job. The president has to respond. He has not submitted a single proposal, and the fact is he hasn't engaged the process in over 3 months. And Chuck Schumer in the Senate hasn't put a single dollar amount, not even an alternative proposal with alternative spending reductions.
So
and he knows he
Congressman,
can't pass a clean debt ceiling.
Congressman, obviously they would disagree with you on that. So how confident are you that America will not default?
Well, we listened to Janet Yellen and her warning that we needed to move with urgency and purpose, and we did. In the House, Republicans did it. The question is, will President Biden listen to Janet Yellen, his own secretary, and with the window closing on the X date, the default date, and respond? We've done our job. The president and the Senate hasn't put a single jot or tittle on paper, not a counteroffer, not their own proposal. So if we get close to the debt, to the default date, and if there's any impact on the markets, it's because this president and Chuck Schumer have been more interested in posturing on the debt ceiling than rolling up their sleeves and working with Republicans to negotiate a final deal.
Okay, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Martha.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.